All right, here we go. Game number 10 of the season is over. Welcome to In the Paint right here on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. I'm your host, Dan Tanner. What a win for the Denver Nuggets tonight. They beat the Mavs 122 to 120, and they have won 7 of their last 8 games. Have the Denver Nuggets. They've won 5 games in a row overall. They crush the homestand. They get 4 days off. They don't play again until Friday. So Michael Malone just got out of his press conference. He talked about the shortened rotation over the last couple of games that we've been seeing. He only played 8 guys tonight. And he did talk about how the plan, kind of the thinking going into that, was because of these 4 days off that the team has until Friday. So he talked about the historic start to the season that Nikola Jokic is on. He was kind of throwing shade at the national media a little bit, saying, he might have moved up to 5th on the national media's MVP list. But, classic Michael Malone answer. He's sticking up for his guy. But really, and I just haven't had time, but I'm going to do this as soon as I can to really dig in to the numbers so far for Nikola Jokic to start the season, as far as like, this has to be the best start statistically of any player in NBA history. So Nuggets fans, like, I know we all appreciate Nikola Jokic and the kind of basketball player that he is, but he is on an even more historic pace to start this year than he's ever been. He has been absolutely phenomenal to start the season. Tonight, he played 38 minutes, which we're going to get into the usage of him here in just a second. But 38 minutes, he shoots 13 of 21. He's 3 of 3 from beyond the arc. He's shooting the 3 ball at a higher clip than he's ever done at any point in his career. Perfect from the line, 8 for 8, 18 rebounds, 15 assists, and 37 points for the big fella. I mean, we are truly witnessing something historic to start this season when it comes to what Nikola Jokic is doing on the basketball court. He has been better than I've ever seen him, and that is saying something. I mean, he's won 3 MVPs. He's the best player on the planet, and he is outdoing his old self so far to start the year. He's been absolutely incredible, and I just hope we all appreciate exactly what we're witnessing right now from Nikola Jokic. He has been absolutely amazing to start the year. It's probably the best start to a season in NBA history. He's been that good. And, the sky was kind of falling for a lot of people at the beginning of the season. They start out 0-2. They go to 2-3. But they, like I've said, over the last 7 games, 8 games, they've looked like, the champions of 2023, as we got our guy KJ on the show. Just waiting for KJ to get uploaded there. But yeah, it's like, it's a stark reminder to just always remember that, like, don't freak out one way or the other to start the season, because as long as Nikola Jokic is playing basketball for the Nuggets, they have a chance to be really special. And he has been really special so far this year as well. So awesome to see. I thought Michael Porter was fantastic, especially in that first half tonight. He obviously gets the game winner there too, but at the end, he got the little floater there with 6.5 seconds remaining. And then I thought CB did a really good job of sort of boxing out Kyrie Irving on his 3-point shot attempt that missed at the end of the game. So a lot of positives from this 5-game homestand. 4 days off is huge. Malone kind of mentioned that, like, his guys could use the rest, and it's coming at a good time. Malone was great in his post-game press conference. He last thing somebody asked him was about Jokic's usage, and he plays 38 minutes tonight, and he's been playing big minutes to start the season, and Malone did say, like, that's not a sustainable formula and we're gonna have to work on, you know, figuring out something to spell that. So we got our guy KJ Granderson on the show. KJ, what's up, man? How are you?
What's up, man? I'm good, man. How you doing?
Doing fantastic. I mean, what an excellent, exciting basketball game here at Ball Arena tonight. 5-game homestand sweep. The Nuggets are 7-1, KJ, in their last 8 games after the 0-2 start. You know, didn't look great. But I was just kind of getting into like Nikola Jokic's historic start to the season. I I will have to go do like the actual research on what the numbers say, but I would have to guess that this is the best statistical start to a season anybody's ever had in NBA history. I mean, that's how well Nikola Jokic is playing right now. He's outdoing himself. Like the dude's won 3 MVPs, and Coach Malone had a funny post game kind of quip. He was asked about Joker's night, and he's like, "Yeah, maybe he's up to 5th on the national media's MVP ballot." So, classic. But man, what an exciting game here tonight, and the Nuggets get the 5-game homestand sweep.
Dude, no, tonight was an absolutely amazing game. They withstood the storm of Kyrie Irving. Who knew that storm was going to blow through Denver the way it did? But they survived it. Dan, let me compliment you with the Nikola Jokic thing for just a second. I just got this stat. It literally just came across my phone. He's the first player in NBA history to have 275 plus points, 125, 100 plus assists through 10 games to start the season.
Wow.
So
Wow.
we're watching like absolutely crazy history being
So I was
now
right.
by Nikola. Exactly, yeah. This is let me tell you something. This is one of the rarest starts I think we'll ever see in NBA history from a team. Like you have a team that started off 0-2, a little shaky. They're dealing with injuries, and they just continue to find ways to win. They honestly, like, they're finding more ways to win this year than they ever did last year. Like last year, everything
Absolutely.
was so hard, but this year it's like they kind of lean on each other, and they really just know that at the end of the day, it's going to be the 2-man game. If Watson and Brown do their part, if Strouder, just hangs in there, if the bench can just give them decent minutes, Russell Westbrook, if he doesn't turn the ball over too much, I didn't like the way he was playing tonight. He was a little out of control, but overall, if he can just do that, then you get a chance to see that the Nuggets will be in the game when it matters most. That's what matters more than anything else. Nikola Jokic was Nikola Jokic, and I will say this until I'm blue in the face. We need to appreciate Nikola Jokic, because when this is all said and done, we will never see another player like him in the history of Denver sports.
I don't think we're ever going to see another player like him in the NBA. I mean, maybe he has a Steph Curry like effect where, everybody wanted to shoot the 3 ball because they grew up watching Steph Curry. Maybe we
Yeah,
see a revolution at the center position where guys are looking to be like those classic point centers that Nikola has really revolutionized in today's game.
yeah.
Maybe that'll be the case, but the thing is, like, nobody, you can't just do that. Like, you just have to have that ability in you. You have to have the computer brain that Nikola Jokic does, the processor that we always hear about, quarterbacks in the NFL draft. But it's true. I mean, his court mapping is insane. He sees things before they happen. That will be difficult to replicate. I think we'll see bigs become more passer friendly and distribute the basketball in that way. But I don't think it's going to be really tough for somebody to come along and do it like as effectively as Joker does, man. It's incredible to watch. And how about the battle between him and Kyrie down the stretch? That was awesome. Kyrie was on fire tonight.
Dude, he was absolutely crushing it tonight. Like in the fourth quarter, he opens it up 3 straight threes, and he hits a crazy bank shot at the buzzer. I
Yeah.
was like, oh my
That's
goodness.
hands on your head. Like, you just got to give it up to him. That was
Dude,
incredible. And
seriously, he
Kyrie
was
hits those
amazing.
kind of shots all the time. Like, he just does that.
Dude, he's been doing it probably since he came out of the womb, if we're being honest, man. He has the craziest layup package, just the craziest, like, dribble move package probably in the history of the NBA. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not even kidding. Like, this dude is just amazing. He can get
His
his
handles are insane.
dude. It is unbelievable. One thing, before I transition to Nikola Jokic, one thing I will say about Kyrie Irving, we kind of saw it tonight. If there's a guy like Christian Brown who is more lateral, more box moving when it comes to his defending, he will just go right around that guy. But if it's somebody who's super lanky, super tall, somebody who can cover a lot of space, like a uh, like a Peyton Watson, you saw it tonight. He struggles, man. A lot of it has to be him leaning away. He hit that crazy shot. Like I said, at the end of the shot clock, he tried to take a contested step back three. Like, honestly, it was all of that that really propelled them in the fourth quarter and helped them to overcome one of the just most magical performances I think we'll see at Ball Arena this year. Nikola Jokic, on the other hand, Nikola was amazing. You saw down the stretch, they were double teaming and triple teaming Nikola Jokic every chance they could.
Didn't matter.
They just wanted to get the ball out of his hands, and he still was finding a way, man. Like, that's what truly makes Nikola great. Is he just keeps battling, he keeps hustling, he doesn't worry. Like, he's just such a steady force that he knows it'll come. It'll come. If you double team me 3 times in a row, it's fine. I'll kick it out. And on the fourth time, guess what? You guys will not be able to stop me, because guess what? I'll just boop boop, a 1-2 drop step right over your head. And it's Nicola's just dude, he's become, I don't know, man. I am running out of adjectives to describe Nikola Jokic truly.
um, yeah, like that. To your point, that is what is so special about Joker, is if you double him, he's going to kill you with his passing ability. If you don't double him, he one on one, he's unguardable.
Yeah,
So I mean, I have to imagine like the coaching staff for the opposing team the night before they play the Nuggets don't get a lot of sleep, because like literally, what do you do? You can't do anything against this guy. He's been in the league for a decade now, KJ. They've tried everything.
dude,
They've
everything.
tried everything, and he's putting up 37 points, 18 rebounds, 15 assists, like he's
Dude,
sleepwalking.
just
It's special to watch, man. And this really is like, I hope there's a sense of urgency in the front office for the Nuggets, whether it's the draft being as meticulous as they possibly can be to bring guys in who can help this team win, whether it's free agency. I know new CBA kind of restricts a lot of what they used to be able to do. And I think the front office is aware of, like, you know, this is never going to happen again, more likely than not, in the
yeah.
history of this organization, and they need to do everything they can to get this man as many championships and get these fans as many championships as they possibly can while he's here. He's been incredible.
No, he really has, man. And that's the one thing that we got to keep in mind, all of us, the fans, the front office, his teammates. Like, the time is ticking, man. Like, the window's open. We've got to maximize it. We've got to do all that we can to really make sure that we're getting everything we can out of this window with Nikola Jokic. Like, when we look back on this championship window for the Nuggets, like I always say, the last thing you want to say is, did we do enough? You don't want to have to ask that question. Just continue to maximize it right before your eyes. This bench, they're growing. The starting five, they have the connective tissue. Honestly, is a blessing in disguise that Peyton Watson has been forced to step into the starting lineup this year,
Mhm.
because now he is being forced to find his shot, to be confident, to make defensive plays down the stretch. Now Malone has options. Now Russell Westbrook sees another guy off the bench that he can trust when AG is back. And so it's just like little moments that you're kind of seeing that this version of the Nuggets right now, I think they understand what's at stake. But over the course of the season, they've just got to continue to remain consistent. And I think that's the only way that we feel comfortable with how things are going with the current state of the Nuggets as we transition into the next portion of what this Nuggets window looks like.
I want to get a couple of comments here from our guy Kevin. Feel free to comment. We'd like to involve you listening as much as we can. So a couple things here from Kevin. So Joker is so amazing and a future Hall of Famer. Now, I wanted to put that comment up there because, I've been thinking about this over the last couple of games, and really it's something I've kind of thought about on and off for over the last couple of years. Joker's obviously he's a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer right now if he didn't play another game. But
No,
where Joker is going, KJ, to me, and this comes with a caveat. He's got to win at least, I would say, probably 2 more championships minimum. But statistically, culturally, like what he's revolutionizing the game, how the game is played, he's not only on track to be like a first ballot Hall of Famer, he's on track to possibly go down as one of, if not the best player of all time. Now, I get it. MJ's got 6 titles. LeBron's got 4, and people try to make that argument. It's a stupid argument. I mean, but that's fine.
Right. Yeah.
But my point is, we're not watching like an all-time great nugget. We're watching an all-time great period. And that's really where the trajectory he's on right now. And the start of this season is only helping my case and where I really do believe that's a possibility. Again, he's got to win, I would say probably at least 2 or 3 more titles to like really be in that conversation. But let's just throw a scenario out there. Let's say he ends up with 4 titles, okay? And he has seasons like he's having over the last 5 years. Is that out of the realm of possibility in your mind, KJ, or does he have a shot to go down as an all-time great?
Dude, I'm with you. He definitely has a chance to go down as an all-time great. Like, let's just be honest for one quick second. Nikola Jokic has a chance to go down as the second greatest center in NBA history. And to me, I think Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, just what he was able to do with his time in the league, I think he'll always be number one. But I think Nikola has a chance to be number 2. Like, he is on that trajectory. A couple of things he has to make sure he solidifies. Like, he has to make sure by the end of his career, and he's on pace to already do it, so I think it'll happen. He has to make sure when he walks away from the game in about 5 to 7 years, he has to be a part of the 25,000 point club, the 10,000 rebound club, and the 10,000 assist club. That for sure statistically will take care of everything else. He'll already be top 3 in triple doubles, so we're not worried about that portion of things. From there, like you said, if he wants to ingratiate himself amongst the top 5 centers of all time, like you said, a couple more championships would not hurt. And the way he's playing, I never thought it was possible, Dan. But if I'm being honest, another MVP is potentially on the horizon for Nikola Jokic. I know it's a little early in
I'm
the
not
season,
talking
but
center,
hey,
KJ. I'm not talking center. I'm talking all-time great. Period. Like top 5 great. Period. Not just the center position. Like that's kind of where my thinking has been. But I wanted to get this other comment in here from our guy Kevin. Kevin, appreciate you listening. DT and KJ, do you think the championship window will be open for a decade? It's my belief that the championship window will be open as long as Nikola Jokic is wearing a Nuggets jersey. That's really that simple. I really do believe that's as long as he's playing, and his game is going to age beautifully. He doesn't. He
oh yeah,
already runs slow and doesn't jump high and doesn't move all that fast. So as long as he's playing here, they're in a window. They are, as long as they have that guy. Now the question really becomes like, how long does Joker want to play basketball? You know what I'm saying? That's, I think, the bigger question.
yeah. No, Dan, I'm with you 100%. That's what the Nuggets window will be. How long does he want to play? I think um I know, there's people in town who, have the Project Dynasty thing because they believe the Nuggets will continue to hit on these late round draft picks. But um I'm not necessarily sold on that. Um the championship window, I think, is open for at least another 5 to 7 years if we're being like realistic. I think
Yeah, there needs to
Nikola,
be names that
even
are heard of in that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, it's possible. But I guess my biggest thing is alongside Nikola, like where will MPJ, where will Jamal be? So like that, those are the kind of things I consider. Like obviously, you can never look. You can never like shun the Nuggets from potentially winning another one. Like here's a perfect example. Look at the Golden State Warriors right now. Like as long as Steph Curry's there, they always have a chance. It may not be the highest percentage, but they always have a chance. And I think that's kind of the same way we should look at Nikola Jokic. Like there's always a chance. All you have to do is just make sure he stays healthy. As he gets later in this window, you may have to do a little bit of load managing. But beyond that, I mean, the Nuggets championship window will be open for as long as he wants it to be.
Yeah, and talking about the load management thing, that really comes down to like minutes. And I was talking about this before. I'm not sure if you heard it, but Coach Malone after the game, was kind of asked about Joker's minutes. They've been up from where Malone would like them to be. It was pretty funny. He's like, does Joker ever get mad at you for playing him all these minutes? He's like, or do you ever have to apologize to Joker for playing him? He's like, no. Have you seen his paycheck? It's a good clip from Malone after the game. But he did mention, that's not sustainable. Playing Joker 38 to 40 minutes a night, it's just not going to be sustainable because, like we've talked about in the past, that's what kind of did them in last year. They just ran these guys in the ground. Now, Malone did say, and he kind of sat there and thought about it for a little bit, and he kind of ended his press conferences like, yeah, we need to find somebody off the bench who can come in and give us valuable minutes and produce on offense when Joker's not on the floor. Like, that's why you brought in Dario Saric, at least I thought. And they're going to, like, we've been talking about how, like, is he going to play again this year? Dude, he's going to have to play. Like, they're going to need him. Because Zeke, okay, fine. He played fine tonight, but it wasn't anything crazy special. I mean, he took 2 shots, KJ. So he played 10 minutes, just under 10 minutes. They brought in Dario Saric to hopefully finally answer that question, and they're going to have to play him. I don't see a way around where they go the whole year playing Joker 38 minutes a night and not playing Dario Saric. I get it. He struggled mightily in the games he played in this year, but they've got to give him a little bit of time, don't you think?
Dude, at some point you have to, man. Like you brought him in to see what he could be for the second unit, and I don't think he's had a long enough runway. If we're being honest, we talk about, Vic talks about it all the team, all the time, measuring this team in 10-game increments. He didn't want to pass too much judgment on the Nuggets because we didn't, we weren't at the 10-game mark. Well, now we're at the 10-game mark, and we're still struggling with that same one thing, which is Nikola doesn't have any help behind him. You got to get Dario Saric in to at least give it a shot. That's all we're talking about right now. And I talked about it a couple of post-game shows ago. The best way to utilize Sarge on offense, man, you got to put him in the pick and roll with Russell Westbrook. And he's got to be able to feel like he can be able to really, do his thing in regards to operating from the high key. So you got to get Dario Saric in here at some point. Otherwise, Nikola Jokic is going to continue to play anywhere between 38 to 42 minutes in the regular season. It's not sustainable.
Yeah, they can't do that. They simply cannot do that. We've got DMAC on. DMAC just got out of Malone's presser. It was a classic Michael Malone press conference, joking about the minutes played for Joker, and do you ever have to apologize for playing him so many minutes? And he's like, no. Have you seen his paycheck? It was a great classic Malone little moment there. But just your thoughts, D, on the historic start to the season for Joker. It's been amazing.
Well, he's the MVP again, guys, and I'm waiting in the altitude dressing room, waiting for Jokic. He's going to talk, so I probably have plenty of time to chat with you guys actually as I wait for him next door. So I'm at the arena, and this is what it looks like when the fancy TV people change. This is where they do it, and so we await Jokic, but he's always amazing to talk to and hear from. So when I hear some rustling going on in there, I'll let you know. But with Jokic, one of the amazing things is he's a master of discipline with his training, his workouts, everything he does after the game. It's incredible. He's been so spectacular this season. So I don't know, man. I mean, what are we, 10 games in? What is this? What are they? 7-3, right?
3. Yep.
I mean, he's the MVP through an eighth of the season. I mean, it's not even close. So I think, sometimes we go through these games and we don't even mention Jokic. You're probably giving him enough credit, but you can't do that tonight. By the way, Kyrie had 43. He wasn't missing many either, man. Hell of a game.
Kyrie was
43,
cooking.
wasn't it? But yeah, you're right, D-Mac. Like, Joker just does this so often that we kind of just gloss over it a lot of the time. But like, I was just telling KJ, I mean, KJ, what was the stat you had? If you could find that real quick that you listed off to me, I'd love for D-Mac to hear that. But like,
you're
he's
fine.
outdoing himself.
Through the first 10 games, Nikola Jokic is the first player in NBA history to have 275 plus points, 125 plus rebounds, and 100 plus assists. And dude, it's the first player ever, which is crazy to think about, man.
Well, he's the first player to have 37 and 18 and 15. It's a Jokic Gami. It's they're a Joker Gami. That's probably better. I mean, when does it end? And Malone said in his presser, we're running out of superlatives and adjectives to describe how brilliant this guy is. It's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's crazy to watch. Thoughts on Jamal's game tonight? He had 5 points in the first half. I thought he looked a little tentative in that first half, but hey, give him credit. He bounced back a little bit in the second half. He hit that sick sort of like half turnaround fade away. And then he tells the Mavs to call timeout after that. I don't know if you guys caught that. That was hilarious. But Jamal, not as good as their previous game, but I think he looks like health-wise at least, and you guys can tell me what you think. He looks way better than he did to start the season. He's moving better. He looks more comfortable out there. He just kind of had a pretty crappy first half of tonight's game, but I thought he bounced back pretty well.
I think Jamal is what would you describe that level just right below All-Star that'll never be an All-Star? How would you describe that? And that is
really good.
Okay, then he's the Hall of really good. I mean, what do I think about Jamal? I think that's a pretty typical Jamal game these days. Pretty good. It's all right. You're not going to be an all-star with it. You're not. But, you're a key cog to a really good team, and they need him. So, but, 7 of 17, 2 of 6 from 3. I don't know, man. I think that's Jamal. I think that's a pretty Jamal game. And, Jamal can actually, of course, Jamal has the possibilities of going off. He does. But this is pretty consistent, man. I mean, I'll take this from Jamal. I think it's all right. It's good. I mean, we're all just in a daze right now with Jokic. So how about Michael Porter Jr.? Didn't even touch the ball basically in the fourth quarter, and then he hits the game-winning shot. I mean, you got that going for you. We're getting a little bored by Christian Brown being pretty consistent, I guess. I don't know, man. And they only went 3 deep off the bench. And Malone said, yeah, I mean, they know they have 4 days off. Weird scheduling thing. And they're just rolling right now. He did say that the reason he didn't get Hunter Tyson is because he really wanted the matchup with Peyton Watson on Kyrie, I guess. Was Kyrie or Doncic? Luka on Doncic. So that sort of put Tyson on the bench for the game.
Okay, let me ask you guys this question. If Michael Porter Jr. plays relatively similar to what he's been over the last 5 games, does that make the Nuggets like serious title contenders in your guys' mind? Because I think it does.
Yeah, I would definitely say so. Look, MPJ is the key cog to this whole thing. His shooting, his ability to continue to keep the spacing right in the starting lineup, and sometimes when he staggers with the bench, he is. I keep trying to explain to people, he has to continue to be the second most important piece to this whole thing here in the regular season, because we know that the wheel will start to turn into the 2-man game when the playoffs come around. So I think MPJ has everything it takes to average 20, to shoot 50% from 3. He has the ability, to dribble drive and hit an occasional mid range. I think it's all a part of his game. The most important thing is he's got to continue to be consistent, and he can't be afraid of telling the guys, "Hey, I need to play right here. I need to play right here." That's kind of what it's really going to come down to, because I feel like sometimes when he goes and he misses two or three, he gets a little tentative, and I'm like, no, 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 no. If you know that you're a volume shooter, you gotta, let the guys know, hey, I need one more right here. I promise this is going to be the one to kind of get me back on track.
I mean, he had an excellent start to the game. He scored 13 points in that first quarter, and he scores 4 after that the rest of the game. And that's something I've kind of harped on with Michael, is just like you kind of mentioned, KJ. I want us to just see more consistent MPJ, not necessarily just game to game, but like from quarter to quarter or half to half. I think that's really the next area where he can really grow, if not having these peaks and valleys. So, but look, he hit the game-winning shot, like D-Mac said, after really not touching the ball much in that fourth quarter, and you got to give him credit for that. So, excellent.
Yeah, no doubt. He's such a key. Yeah, he's such an important part of the team. And yeah, he's getting much more opportunity with Aaron Gordon, much more opportunity. He's not going to come off the floor, okay? He's not going on the bench in the last 5 minutes. I mean, with AG out, that's kind of what you get, no doubt about it, where there's been moments like that. It's a incredible opportunity for Michael Porter Jr. Game in, game out. So far, he's taken advantage of it. But listen, man, we can talk about anybody else we want, but have we gone 3 minutes without mentioning Nikola Jokic? I mean, maybe we shouldn't. So at what point, guys, let me ask you this. What point do we start hearing MVP stuff for Jokic already? I know we're so early, but like at what point does Kendrick Perkins start crapping all over Jokic? When do we start that?
I think that started about a month ago, D-Mac. I haven't watched Kendrick this year so far.
You got to tell me this. What other player is even close to you? I mean, Kyrie had 43. I haven't really followed his season. Help me out, guys. Who else is even in this conversation?
Well, I'll tell you this much. If we're talking about MVP candidates, I mean, thus far it's got to be Nikola Jokic 1. The next guy I'm going to surprise you with, Anthony Davis 2, because AD's been really good. And I think maybe SGA 3, maybe you can fight that with Jason Tatum, because Jason Tatum has gotten off to a pretty decent start. But to your point, it's been Nikola Jokic far and away. It's not even close. Nobody's doing statistically what he's doing. Nobody's asked to carry the load he's asked to carry night to night. He's dealing with 2 starters who, one just came back from concussion protocol. Another guy's still out. He's dealing with a bench that's not that good. He is, he's been asked to play at least 40 to 42 minutes a night. Like, it's not even close.
I mean, maybe Donovan Mitchell. The Cavs are 11-0. They're the last undefeated team in the NBA. But numbers wise, I mean, you're right. You guys are right. It's not even close. All right, before we let you go, D-Mac. Buffs win. Avs win on Saturday. Nuggets win tonight. And the Broncos missed a field goal in Kansas City and had to ruin the weekend for everybody.
I'm telling you, my prediction. I was right, even though the score was wrong. That I am going to go to my deathbed saying I predicted that game the right way. If you told me I won that prediction, I'm not going to hear it from anybody else. I got that right. The Broncos won that game. Broncos won that game.
They had a chip shot field goal in KC to win it, and it gets blocked. I mean, and to your point, Bo Nix outplayed Mahomes. Like, straight up outplayed Mahomes. He drove him down the field on that last possession, gave him a chance to win.
Yeah.
And also, I see a lot of Broncos fans complaining about the refs. And yes, there were a lot of, missed calls. But, like, come on. You had a 35-yard field goal at the end of the game to win it, and it gets blocked. That's why they lost. But
I got it.
Other than that, we had tortillas flying on the field down there. And is it Lubbock where Texas Tech is? That was wild. Yeah. But what a great sports weekend, And then the Broncos missed a field goal and had to ruin it for everybody.
Yeah, and the Broncos one is painful, though. It's incredibly painful.
It is so painful.
And It's so painful. But you know what? Listen, man. If anybody had any doubts about Bo Nix, he led a 6-minute drive on the road against Kansas City, and they were not trying to score a touchdown. They didn't want to score a touchdown because you don't want to leave any time for Mahomes. They actually did exactly what they wanted to do. They got the ball where you needed an extra point. That's it. That has made 90 what? I mean, I don't know, man. 35-yard field goals in the NFL, 96% of the time, 97% of the time. I mean, it's an extra point. So, you know what? It's probably like 87, 88, something like that, extra points. But, I don't even know what to say. You got me in a bad mood now. So I'm going to go listen to Jokic and smile and just be like, he's the best player. So I'm going to go next door and watch him.
Just read Nikola Jokic.
Thanks for messing up my night, Dan.
Well, go read Nicola's stat line from tonight, and that'll cheer you back up, okay?
All right, boys. We'll talk to you later.
All right, there he goes, D-Mac. I had to get that in there, man. Like, one of my favorite things, KJ, are like epic Denver sports weekends where just all of our teams win. And the Avs are on a heater. The Buffs are 7-2. They're ranked. I think they came in at like 18 today. The Nuggets get an awesome win here at Ball Arena tonight in just a tremendously entertaining basketball game. Like, that was one of the most fun games I've watched in a while, just from like a pure basketball fan standpoint. There was just so much action, so much offense, and then the Broncos had to score 14 points and lose in Kansas City.
The Broncos, they just frustrate me, man. Like, listen, I usually don't call names. I usually try to be super generic because I don't want to offend anybody. But dude, Alex Forsythe in the left side of that line for the field goal unit, they got to get it together, man, because they absolutely got folded like a chair today. And it is just ridiculous. Like, I cannot believe we're talking about the special teams. Like, the essence of special teams is the reason the Broncos lost. I mean, don't get me wrong. That Cortland Sutton drop at the end of the first half was crucial, but the Broncos still had a chance at the end. And yeah,
that reaction is how that sigh right there is how every single Broncos fan feels right now.
Just talking about this game pisses me off, man. Like,
okay, but we'll end on a positive note, okay? Last thing I got for you. I was thinking about this during the game, and isn't it crazy how, like, the young guys have looked better and better each game the more they're getting to play? Julian Strother, I thought he was pretty good tonight. Malone gave him some love after the game, saying he made a couple of big plays on the defensive end. He hit a couple of big threes. Peyton Watson was a monster on defense tonight, guarding Luka. We just talked to D-Mac about that. He hit a couple of big threes on the offensive end as well. Christian Brown is just still doing his thing. Like, I really do think Coach Malone took it to heart of, like, maybe he should have played the young guys a little bit more last season. And I think he's really changed his mindset when it comes to young players, because he knows that this team absolutely is going to need them, not just during the regular season, but he's going to need them come playoff time. So I give Malone a lot of credit in sort of changing his mindset of playing young players. And now, granted, he's kind of been forced into a little bit, but and he was about to, Hunter Tyson was the next man up. Like, he just said it was matchup based is why he wasn't able to get him in there tonight. But he's sticking with Hunter Tyson too. I think it's a really good sign that Michael Malone is giving these young guys a chance, and it's paying off. They're playing great.
They are playing great, man. Like, they are playing their roles. They're really maximizing the time that they have on the floor. Hunter Tyson, he's getting better game by game. Julian Strother, he's getting more confident game by game. His shooting, obviously that'll come, all together at some point this season, and we'll be like, thank goodness he didn't give up on Julian Strother. Like, I promise it'll make sense at some point. PY, he is who he is, man. Just Mr. Reliable. May not do everything you want him to do offensively all the time, but defensively, he's right there. Christian Brown,
pretty good offensively, KJ. Like, he's been better than I thought he over these last, this homestand. And I'll tell you what, man, is he taking advantage of his opportunity with Aaron Gordon being out for a couple weeks? I damn sure think he is. Like, he has solidified his spot in this rotation when AG comes back, they're going to use Peyton Watson more than they were even before AG went down. Like they have to because he's playing so well, and he's being a pretty consistent outside shooter. That's something that surprised me about his game a little bit this year. To your point, Julian Strother, I think he's developing really nicely, and he looks like he's going to be a player for this team for quite a while. And he's an excellent shooter. This team needs shooting, KJ. So Christian Brown, he's shooting the three ball better than he ever has in his career. So it's really cool to see Malone trusting these guys and them paying it off by producing and playing really well.
No, absolutely. And I'm so happy that, Malone hasn't given up on them. He has to continue to trust these guys because at the end of the day, they're only going to go so far on Nikola Jokic's back. Nikola has to be able to trust his teammates. He has to be able to trust that the young guys are going to make those shots. I want, and listen, I know it's going to be a long season. We're going to see a lot more exciting games. We're also going to see a lot more frustrating games. But listeners, Nuggets Nation, I want you guys to remember the early part of this season where the Nuggets were in some close games that should not have been close, and games like tonight where you knew it was going to come down to the wire. I want you guys to remember this and just keep that in mind because the Nuggets youth, they're building muscle in real time. And I don't think that the weight that they're called to lift right now will be in vain because come playoff time, they'll be able to step right into the moment, not afraid. They'll just be able to just say, look, this is who I am. This is what I can do. I've shown it to you guys 40 times this season or whatever that number is. And they'll be able to tell themselves mentally as well as in their heart, I've been here before. Let me just go out here and play my game. And the fact that Malone trusts them, that's the cherry on top to it all.
Yeah, and Malone's going to trust them, and their teammates, KJ, are going to trust them more if they keep playing like this come
Yep.
playoff time. I think that's a key as well. So, KJ, excellent stuff as always, man. Thanks for hopping on.
No, man, I appreciate you having me, DT, man. It's always fun hanging out on the post game show, man. We
Yes,
get to
sir.
chop it up about another Nuggets win, man. So trust
Yes,
me, I'll
yes.
never complain.
Excellent homestand. 5-game sweep of the homestand. So great stuff, KJ. We'll see you tomorrow, man.
All right, see you tomorrow. Appreciate you, man.
All right, there he goes, our guy KJ Granderson. Excellent work as always. That's going to do it for the post-game show tonight. Excellent 5-game stretch here. The Nuggets needed this badly. They start out 0-2 on the season, both home losses, by the way, and they're so dominant in this building that it's just good for the psyche of this team that they're able to sweep this 5-game homestand and sort of reclaim their home dominance. And man, Nikola Jokic, like I hope we're all really, really just soaking in what we're witnessing right now, especially to start this year. Again, off to a historic start to the season. Nobody's ever put up numbers like Joker's doing through the first 10 games of this year. He is well on his way to his 4th MVP. I know it's really early, but like, does anybody honestly believe Joker's going to slow down? I don't. And I doubt any of you listening think he's going to slow down either. And if he plays, even close to what we've seen in these first 10 games, there's no way he's not going to get his 4th MVP. And it's just what we're watching right now is really, really spectacular from Joker and this Nuggets team. So 4 days off, that's good. The Nuggets, Malone mentioned after the game, they do need kind of rest their bodies up a little bit, spiritually, mentally, emotionally is the words Malone used as well. But they've got to be feeling pretty good about themselves right now as they head into this 4-day break. They will be back on Friday. Who we got on Friday? Let's see here. They will be at New Orleans. Big news there. No Zion. He tore up his hamstring or something, and he's going to be out for indefinitely, is the report I read yesterday. Then they go to Memphis, back-to-back games in Memphis, Sunday and Tuesday. They'll be playing back-to-back games in Memphis. No Ja Morant. He's out as well. So 3 very winnable games coming up for the Denver Nuggets. No Zion for New Orleans and no Ja Morant for Memphis. So a 10-3 start to the year is very realistic if they can take care of business coming up on their 3-game road trip. But that's going to do it for the post-game show tonight. My name is Dan Tanner, live here at Ball Arena after the Nuggets get a thrilling 122-120 victory over Luka, over Kyrie and the Mavs. What a win. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will be back on Friday. Have a good night.